Folder not found. Create new folder. When Bernie Kosar spoke about Shedeur Sanders, there was no hesitation, only conviction. He sees something special in Sanders, a combination of presence and leadership that can't be coached. Kosar's praise felt like both recognition and lament, admiration for what Sanders already is, and frustration for what he's not being allowed to be.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
The Browns coaching staff, led by Kevin Stefanski, came under sharp fire for holding Sanders back, keeping him benched while dysfunction spreads through the locker room. It was sabotage disguised as strategy. He believed that Sanders could elevate the entire roster, but the Browns' internal politics are suffocating that possibility before it even begins. Kosar's frustration speaks to a larger truth. Greatness can't survive in a system designed to contain it. He argues that the Browns' obsession with control has created a cycle of wasted talent and missed opportunity. Sanders, he insists, deserves not just a chance, but a system worthy of his ability. Until the organization confronts its flaws and embraces real leadership, Kosar warns, it will keep benching its future. Bernie Kosar didn't hold back when speaking about Shedeur Sanders during the Cleveland Browns bye week. And, in case anyone missed the point, he made it clear. The Browns have a rare talent in Sanders, but the organization seems intent on keeping him from reaching his potential. Kosar, a legend in Cleveland's history, didn't just praise Sanders' abilities. He made it abundantly clear that the Browns' leadership, specifically under head coach Kevin Stefanski, is doing more harm than good when it comes to developing their young quarterback. Kosar's comments weren't just an assessment of a player's abilities. They were an indictment of the Browns' entire approach to player development and organizational leadership. According to Kosar, the Browns are actively sabotaging Sanders' potential by keeping him benched, opting for quarterbacks who are less capable, like Dillon Gabriel. What's even more troubling is that Kosar doesn't believe this is a mistake. He sees it as a systemic problem deeply embedded in the Browns' internal politics, ego-driven decisions, and lack of coherent strategy. In essence, the Browns' management is not giving Sanders the opportunities he deserves, which could hinder his future success not just in Cleveland, but potentially in the entire NFL. This criticism wasn't just an emotional outburst from a frustrated former player. Kosar's words were grounded in deep knowledge of what it takes for a quarterback to succeed in the NFL. Having lived through the pressure cooker of playing for the Browns, he knows that leadership, confidence, and the right environment are the bedrock of any great quarterback success. And he believes Sanders possesses all of those qualities. Kosar sees something in Sanders that is rare, even among the best quarterbacks: the ability to lead and galvanize teammates, to inspire those around him. It's more than just the physical attributes of a quarterback. It's a sense of presence that has the power to elevate the entire team. Sanders' energy, leadership, and confidence, according to Kosar, are all the traits of a future superstar, if only the Browns would let him play. Kosar's frustration wasn't just aimed at the on-field performance or even the coaching staff. He was calling out the entire organizational culture in Cleveland, which, in his view, is preventing Sanders from blossoming into the player he could be. By keeping Sanders benched, the Browns are effectively stalling his development. In Kosar's mind, it's not just that they're not giving Sanders a fair shot. They're actively preventing him from showcasing his full potential. And for a young quarterback with everything it takes to succeed, that's a tragic mistake. Kosar made it clear that Sanders isn't just a player who happens to be on the roster. He's someone who could change the direction of the team if given the right tools and the opportunity to lead. The lack of support and strategy from the Browns, Kosar argues, is what's holding Sanders back, and in turn, it's holding the team back as well. Instead of putting their faith in Sanders, who clearly has the leadership and talent to take the team forward, the Browns are stuck in a cycle of internal conflict, politics, and ego-driven decisions that are ultimately damaging the entire franchise. This leads to the heart of Kosar's critique: the Browns' failure to build a supportive system around their young quarterback. The internal chaos, injuries, and lack of strategy all create an environment that is impossible for any quarterback to succeed in, let alone a young player who still needs development and trust from his coaching staff. Kosar underscored that even the most talented players, including Sanders, cannot thrive when they are not in a functional system. The team's leadership, Kosar believes, is more focused on maintaining control and avoiding responsibility for failures than on fostering a successful, supportive environment for their players. At the core of Kosar's message is a simple truth: leadership matters. The qualities that make a great quarterback, confidence, presence, and the ability to inspire others, are vital, and Sanders is all of them. But without the right leadership from the organization, even the best talents will struggle. Kosar highlighted that Sanders' ability to lead under pressure and handle chaos is a rare trait, one that separates good quarterbacks from great ones. But, as Kosar pointed out, even the most talented players cannot thrive in a dysfunctional system. Kosar sees a broken system in Cleveland, one that not only fails to develop players, but actively prevents them from growing. The organizational dysfunction, the lack of strategic direction, and the internal politics are sabotaging not just Sanders' career, but the entire team's future. Kosar's frustration was palpable when he discussed the Browns' approach to quarterback development. He believes that Sanders' potential is being deliberately or inadvertently delayed while the team turns its attention to mediocrity. The organization is, in his view, making decisions that do nothing to develop Sanders' skills or give him the chance to show what he can do. Kosar questions how many more losses and underwhelming performances the Browns need to see before they finally recognize Sanders' potential and give him a fair shot. Kosar's plea is clear. The Browns need to stop making decisions that limit Sanders' development, and they need to focus on the long-term growth of the team rather than prioritizing short-term comfort. For Kosar, the key to unlocking Sanders' full potential is a supportive environment. Without a system that provides stability, trust, and strategic backing, Sanders' talents will remain untapped. Kosar's final message was a call to action for the Browns' leadership to wake up, stop letting internal politics get in the way of player development, and give Sanders the opportunity he deserves. Kosar warned that if the Browns continue down the current path, they risk wasting Sanders' potential, as well as the team's future success. It's not just about talent. It's about the right leadership and organizational mindset. Without those, even the most promising players will struggle. Kosar's critique isn't just about the Browns. It's a broader lesson for any NFL team. Talent alone isn't enough. A great quarterback needs more than just raw ability. They need a system that supports their growth, a coaching staff that believes in their potential, and an organizational culture that prioritizes player development over short-term wins. Without those elements in place, a team's success will always be limited. And for the Browns, that's exactly what they're facing. A future filled with missed opportunities and wasted talent, unless they make drastic changes. Kosar's call for a change in the way the Browns handle their quarterbacks is a plea for a shift in organizational thinking. The team needs to stop clinging to outdated methods and start focusing on developing young talent like Shedeur Sanders. If they do, they might just have the quarterback they need to turn the franchise around. But if they keep making the same mistakes, they'll continue to waste years of potential, and with it, the chance to finally build a winning team in Cleveland. What do you think? Is it time for the Browns to give Shedeur Sanders the chance he deserves, or are they stuck in a cycle of bad decisions? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on the Browns' ongoing saga. Let's see if Cleveland finally makes the right call. Bernie Kosar's comments on Shedeur Sanders during the Cleveland Browns bye week weren't just some passing remarks. They were a wake-up call to a franchise that has, for too long, been mired in mediocrity. Kosar, a man who lived and breathed Browns football, didn't hold back as he laid out exactly what he sees happening in Cleveland. The Browns are not just failing to develop Sanders, they're actively sabotaging his career. This wasn't a personal vendetta. This wasn't about bitterness or playing the role of the disgruntled former player. No, Bernie Kosar was speaking out because he sees a real talent in Shedeur Sanders, a talent that could turn the entire franchise around if the Browns would just get out of their own way. And, according to Kosar, the Browns are doing everything in their power to prevent that from happening. Kosar's praise for Sanders was glowing. He doesn't mince words when he talks about the young quarterback's natural talent, leadership, and ability to inspire his teammates. And this is coming from a guy who's seen it all, a quarterback who knows exactly what it takes to succeed in the NFL. To hear a guy like Kosar speak about Sanders with such admiration isn't something you hear every day, especially considering Kosar's history with Cleveland. The Browns are known for a brutal, chaotic culture, one that's ground up promising quarterbacks in the past and left them scrambling. But Shedeur Sanders, according to Kosar, has everything a franchise needs: leadership, a strong arm, and the mental fortitude to handle the pressure of being the face of the franchise. Kosar doesn't just praise Sanders for his physical ability, though. He calls out Sanders' leadership, his confidence, and his mental toughness, traits that Kosar insists are what separate truly great quarterbacks from the rest of the pack. Shedeur doesn't just have the tools. He has the mental game to lead under pressure and to keep the locker room unified. That's something even the most talented quarterbacks can't always pull off. And yet, Kosar believes Sanders is being stifled by an organization that doesn't know how to support him properly. The real issue, according to Kosar, is the way the Browns have mishandled Sanders' development. The Browns seem to be operating with a mindset that has to be changed, and Kosar wasted no time in putting that message out there. Shedeur Sanders isn't just being sidelined. He's being undermined by an organization too focused on maintaining control and avoiding responsibility for their failures. Kosar didn't hold back in criticizing the coaching staff, particularly head coach Kevin Stefanski, for their failure to see the bigger picture. Rather than investing in Sanders, instead of giving him a shot to prove himself, the Browns are wasting a rare opportunity. The reality of the situation is that the Browns have a young quarterback in Shedeur Sanders who could very well be the solution to their years of turmoil. But instead of putting their trust in Sanders, they're playing favorites with quarterbacks who simply don't have the same potential. And that's where the dysfunction starts. Kosar pointed out that the team continues to favor quarterbacks like Dillon Gabriel, a player who doesn't have the same leadership skill or overall potential that Sanders does. The problem isn't just about a poor quarterback decision here or there. The issue runs deeper than that. It's about an ingrained culture of mediocrity that's kept the Browns stuck in a cycle of underachievement. For Kosar, this isn't just about putting the best players on the field. It's about building a culture where young talent is nurtured and given every opportunity to develop. Instead, the Browns are seemingly so bogged down by internal politics and ego-driven decisions that they're passing over a quarterback who could be a game-changer for franchise. Kosar's frustration is clear. He believes the Browns' management, coaching staff, and leadership are more concerned with power plays than with doing what's right for the team. And the cost of that is heavy. Sanders is being held back from realizing his full potential. And in turn, the Browns are getting further and further away from having the kind of success they're so desperately craving. What Kosar is really driving home here is that Sanders is facing a battle on two fronts. The first is the typical fight a quarterback faces: on-field competition. But the second is a battle against the organizational resistance that seems intent on keeping him from getting a fair shot. Kosar believes this is a recipe for disaster. When you're a young quarterback in the NFL, you need confidence. You need to know that your coaching staff has your back. Instead, Sanders finds himself constantly fighting against internal forces that are preventing him from getting the reps, the opportunities, and the support he needs to become a true leader on the field. It's a brutal situation, and it's not just affecting Sanders' growth. It's affecting the entire team. At the heart of it, Kosar is emphasizing that leadership isn't just about physical ability. It's about mental toughness and emotional resilience. These are the kinds of qualities that can't be taught. They're innate, and Kosar believes Sanders has it. But Sanders can't lead a team if he's kept on the bench. The Browns are squandering a generational talent, all because the leadership in place doesn't know how to get out of their own way. When you have a quarterback who already embodies the essential qualities of leadership, the last thing you should do is hold him back. And yet, that's exactly what's happening in Cleveland. Kosar also took issue with the lack of organizational strategy surrounding the development of quarterbacks in Cleveland. The Browns have consistently failed to create an environment that nurtures and supports their young players, particularly quarterbacks. Kosar knows better than anyone that to succeed as a quarterback in the NFL, you need more than just talent. You need to be in an environment that helps you grow, one that gives you the confidence and security to make mistakes and learn from them. Without this, even the most talented players can't thrive. Unfortunately, that's what Kosar sees happening to Sanders, a player with tremendous potential who is being stifled by a broken system. Kosar's point is simple, but it's one that's easy to overlook. The Browns have the tools to succeed. but they're not using them correctly. Shedeur Sanders is the kind of player who could turn this franchise around. He's got all the qualities of a future star, but those qualities will be wasted unless the team shifts its approach and provides Sanders with the opportunity to shine. The clock is ticking for the Browns. They can't afford to waste another season with internal dysfunction, poor decision-making, and a lack of support for their most promising player. The situation is dire, and if changes aren't made soon, they risk losing Sanders to another team, or worse, watching him burn out due to the constant pressure and frustration. Kosar's message to Browns is clear. Get your act together, or risk losing a generational talent. Sanders deserves a fair shot. He deserves the same opportunity to grow and lead that any young quarterback in this league should have. And if the Browns continue to block his path, they might not just lose Sanders. They could lose their chance at success for years to come. So, what's next for Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns? Will the team recognize his potential and finally give him the opportunity he deserves? Or will they continue to play it safe and let another young talent slip through their fingers? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain. Kosar's warning should not be ignored. The Browns have the talent to succeed. They just need to get out of their own way. The future of the franchise depends on it. As Bernie Kosar laid out a critique of the Cleveland Browns and their treatment of Shedeur Sanders, it became clear that his frustration wasn't just about the present moment. This wasn't just another example of a former player voicing an opinion about a franchise's struggles. Kosar was looking at a much bigger picture, one that threatened to shape the future of the Browns for years to come. He sees a massive opportunity, one that could elevate the entire team. But he believes the Browns are too stuck in their ways to recognize it. Kosar isn't wrong. The NFL is a league that rewards bold decisions, that thrives on leadership and vision. Yet, the Browns seem to be stuck in a cycle where comfort and mediocrity outweigh the willingness to take risks. This is a team that has been lost in the wilderness for decades, and when they finally get a quarterback with the potential to lead them out, they bury him on the bench. What's most painful for Kosar, and for anyone who's followed the Browns' long history of quarterback turmoil, is the missed opportunity that Shedeur Sanders represents. The kid is everything the Browns have been searching for: leadership, confidence, and the ability to inspire his teammates. These are the qualities that make a truly great quarterback. Not just physical tools, but the intangibles, the things you can't measure on a scouting report. Yet, for all of his natural talent and potential, Sanders has been kept on the sidelines while the team continues to play it safe with quarterbacks who simply aren't cut from the same cloth. This isn't just frustrating. It's infuriating. Shedeur Sanders is exactly the kind of leader this team needs, and they're watching him rot on the bench. Kosar's words carry weight because he knows the impact of being in the right system. He's seen how the right environment can either elevate a quarterback to greatness or crush their potential. And in Sanders, he sees a player with the mental toughness to thrive if given the right support. But right now, the Browns are doing everything in their power to prevent Sanders from reaching that potential. They're not creating a system for success. They're creating a system for failure. Kosar pointed to the brokenness of the Browns' internal culture. How many times has this team failed to develop talent? How many times have we seen quarterbacks come and go, each one crushed under the weight of dysfunction and mismanagement? Kosar's been there. He knows how difficult it is to succeed when the team around you is constantly undermining you. And that's the problem with the Browns. It's not just about the talent on the field. It's about the dysfunction that festers behind the scenes. It's about an organization that's more concerned with ego and power struggles than with building something that lasts. When that happens, you're not just failing your current players. You're setting your future up for failure too. So what needs to change? Simple. The Browns need to stop playing it safe. They need to embrace the bold decision to put Shedeur Sanders under center and build a system that allows him and the team to succeed. They need to recognize his potential and give him the chance to show what he can do. Because if they don't, they will once again find themselves wasting a season, a player, and a rare opportunity. Kosar's plea isn't just for Sanders. It's for the future of the entire franchise. The Browns need leadership, vision, and a culture of development. Until they change that, they will continue to sink deeper into the abyss. What do you think? Is it time for the Browns to finally give Shedeur Sanders a chance? Drop your thoughts in the comments. like if you agree, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights and updates. This story isn't over yet, and the next move is up to the Browns.